Alright, basic PI rundown. So this is my advanced factory. Got plenty of factories. Only got 2 ports. All I need to set up essentially. So you build the command center. You want to get it upgraded to just below the max level without having to set up your factories. I tend to, so I popped this port down, and then I made these 4 factories because they're all going to pull from these 2 ports. Create a link between the middle line, and then the factories pull from the ports. It'll go through all of it. So I got consumer electronics, coolant, mechanical parts, another mechanical parts, and then tier. I got robotics here, but it's technically the tier 3, so I might just hold off on that one. I have the extractor here because of the previous tiers. Like, obviously we need precious metals, but now we have all the precious metals, so you don't necessarily need the extractor if you're creating the advanced factory at this point. You could actually probably add more factories, or if you want to get started, you can get the high-tech production going, which creates for all that. Essentially, my cheat sheet tier. So basically, like the tier 1s, so the toxic, the precious, I have like a third. So all the precious I get from my basic factory, I split it 1/3, 2/3. So all my toxic, a third of my precious, all my this top port goes from this port. When you go to storage, if there's any better route, so it goes from this port directly to the production. And then the production line, you go to products and you route it back to the ports. Or in this case, for robotics, sometimes I have it routed from the factory port and then from the port to the factory, or just directly to the factory if I don't want to store it. You could use a warehouse if you want extra backup, or if you want your products to all go into one place, but you have to transfer it from that warehouse to a port to get it to your ship anyways, so it's kind of, you're really not going to get your ports stored up storage-wise, except for drop in the materials. They're heavier, they're going to be a higher weight. Your products will weigh more, but it won't be as much, so very rarely do your ports get completely off your stuff, as far as port goes. And so yeah, so the second port, obviously water, electrolytes, reactive, and the rest of the precious goes into that one, and that goes into mechanical parts, etc. That's pretty much it. I don't know if there's a advantage or not, but I would suggest building factory there. I don't remember what the reason was, the video I watched when I started setting up my PI, but they suggested doing barren planets for your factories. So essentially, okay, so let me go to my basic factory. See that. So this is my basic factory, pretty much kind of the same. So you got your command center. I got 5 ports. So pull up in my notes again. And so each of your ports, I have corresponding stuff. So like these 2 factories, so I've got electrolytes and water, which needs my ionic and aqueous liquids. So I drop the ionic and aqueous liquids from my raw materials into this port, and they automatically go to these, and then the products automatically go back to this port. Same thing with this setup. So I've got the toxic and precious. I'm throwing heavy and noble metals into that port, which in turn go into those corresponding products, so on and so on. And if you want, you can interconnect all of these so that if you need, you can do stuff. But honestly, with this setup, you're never going to get full. Everything that goes in here controls these. All the products go back. All these go into this. I connected these just for ease of access. Plus this one, I forget why. I think I have to connect just to have it in the chain. Maybe not. There's no link. But so that's the basic factory. And yeah, I would highly suggest if you set it up like this to make a cheat sheet like this, so that you can literally jump into your raw material planets, pick everything up from your ports. For example, let me go to the basic. So the basic planet, this is my lava, so this is my non-CS, my base metals, and my heavy metals. So I do a certain amount. I try to get, I'm not sure what the actual output is. I don't want to restart it. But essentially, it's kind of the same way. You extract, it goes to these. I like, because they're heavier, like I said, it's going to be more quantity. I like to have the warehouses and basically go to products, expedite transfer, click your port, transfer everything over, execute. Yes, it will cost you money. And then it will be in the port. Once it's in the port, you can, from that point in here, you can warp to it. And then once you're at the customs, you can access it. It opens up a window. You got to transfer it from the port to the customs office. It costs you money. Drag it from the customs office to your inventory. Make sure you hit transfer before you try to drag it, because if you don't pay the fee when it transfers, it won't officially transfer it from the port to the customs office space. You won't be able to drag it to your ship inventory. But yeah, it's good. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever else, but that is basic BI rundown.